You said everything's on the table right now for you and this team. What specifically were you honing in on at the beginning of the week?
Any adjustments that we need to make, who we're playing, how we're putting things together, who's doing what. I mean, you have to look at everything. And really at the end of the day, it's not one change is going to make all the difference in the world, but it's just really, as a collective group of making sure that we're all on the same page. We're all doing the things we need to do to change the momentum of what's going on.
Against the Cardinals, you got your hands on some footballs, 5 PDs in all. Here you pressure Kyler Murray. Interesting blitz there because Neville Hewitt came on a delay, gets his hands up, and then Avery Williamson comes up with his 4th career interception.
You can see what's going on is if you watch the center, how he turns towards Avery, allows Neville to trigger here, and it makes it tough on them protection-wise to where they think they got, it blocked a certain way, and now the center's coming off. And then, sometimes the quarterbacks don't see this guy pop out because all the things going on. But, for the most part, it starts with the front doing a good job of just trying to keep him. You can see that they're trying to create a little bit of a pocket to where it's collapsing, making it feel like a phone booth for him to where he can't escape. And then he's trying to throw on time, and all of a sudden we get our hands up, and now we get a pick.
What did you make of Avery against the Cardinals? Because he's getting back into the flow. I believe he had 8 tackles, he had a couple PDs, and he came up with the interception as well.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that Avery has done really well throughout his career is he can make tackles, he can make plays. The ball finds him. When he has opportunities like this, he ends up making the play. And, this was a big part of the game for us. We just got to take advantage of it.
The next play, I want to talk about a guy who's really developing for you, a former 4th-round pick of the LA Rams, John Franklin Myers, comes up with his first sack in green and white. Great swim move.
Yeah, I mean, he's been very disruptive ever since training camp. We were having all kinds of problems trying to block him. I think he's getting better every week.
What are you seeing from him here as far as what he's doing off the ball? Because it seemed like he had a great game plan, and then he goes to the swim, and he's on Murray in no time.
I mean, the thing, D linemen, I mean, they're trying to have these little, it's the game within the game. It's like, hey, I'm doing this move here, and then if I get this reaction, I'm going to go to this. Trying to figure out, hey, what's my next chess move? This guy thinks I'm going to do this. I'm going to set it up to do this.
Let's go to the other side of the ball. Jamison Crowder, another game, another 100-yard performance.
Yeah, Crowder, the thing that I would say Crowder does as well as anybody we have on offense is when his number's called, no matter what the situation is, he makes the play that's there to be made.
I know we talk about the need for explosion plays. Here you get one to Crowder again. Take me through the design here because I think it really confused the Cardinals.
With us running our wide zone, we can get some good flow here. And what Crowder's doing here is he's coming behind the linebackers. And you see a lot of teams do this where they wheel it up here on the opposite side. This defender doesn't see him, so he goes up and takes the back. With Chris running across the field, they got to make a decision, and Patrick doesn't, he's got no linebacker help here because these guys are all up in the line of scrimmage. So he ends up taking him, and you get the safety moving this way, and all of a sudden he comes out the back door, and really nobody's there to account for him. This is a tough play versus the coverage they called.
When you're there on the sideline, are you thinking pre-snap, we got a chance at a big one here?
Yeah, right here when this guy came down right here, this was just, all right, hey, let's just make sure we hit the open guy.
7 receptions, 116 yards in all, and Crowder gets you into the end zone. Again, can you talk about the play design because and the craftiness of Crowder following Ryan Griffin and using him basically as a pick getting into the end zone?
Ryan does a good job of fighting through this. The leverage isn't great here, and Crowder does a good job of ducking underneath. Something we talk about all the time is not reaching for the end zone because you've seen plenty over the last 4 or 5 years where guys reaching for the end zone, ball comes out, touchback. I do think the guys did a great job of making sure GVR does a good job of getting on the ball to make sure that we're in good shape. But Crowder does a great job on the route, and Ryan did a good job of making sure that he did his part.
Why doesn't he ever have any problems, no matter who's playing quarterback?
He's able to really kind of develop chemistry with whoever's in there very quickly. I think it's just that's the ability of a really good slot receiver is no matter who's behind, center, they can figure out a way to make it work.
Adam, last week Ryan Fitzpatrick had 350 yards passing against the 49ers, and he was distributing the football to a lot of folks. They got a number of weapons that you're very familiar with in Miami.
Yeah, I think really started on the first play of the game. They take a shot. They do a great job with these vertical routes as far as using their size and speed to their advantage. Guys do a good job of tracking the ball. Anytime that you can get these takeoff routes, these go routes, you get one-on-one matchups, and you got these guys that can play above the rim. It's, as a quarterback, you're not afraid to throw it up and let them go get it.
And Preston Williams is averaging nearly 20 yards a reception. He had a breakout performance last week against the 49ers.
Yeah, he's a tough cover. He definitely has the size advantage. He has really good ball skills. He's got good speed. It makes it a really tough, outside combination with these two guys being as big as they are.
You said the two guys, Devontae Parker leading the way, and here again, one-on-one coverage, and Fitz is on the money on the outside.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing where he's attacking the ball in the air, and he's coming down with them. He's winning off the line of scrimmage a lot. He's doing a good job with using his quickness. I mean, he has really good quickness for a guy his size, and really at the end of the day, it's about whether or not those 50-50 balls, if he's going to come down with them. Devontae's a big dude. I mean, not only, height-wise, but just his general size, and he's strong. He's always been a guy that he can play above the rim. Obviously, some injuries have slowed him down in the past, but, it seems like he's gotten to the point of a career, even being a little banged up, he's finding ways to stay on the field. What do you have to be cognizant of with Fitzpatrick in the pocket? Because we've seen it so many times over the years. He's now 37 years old. He'll tuck it, and he still can pick up yards. Yeah, Fitzy's the hardest thing about Fitzy is he's super slippery. He'll get through. If your rush lanes are incorrect, if you give him a big enough window, he's gonna figure out a way to use your momentum against you, where you're rushing up the field and he kind of slides right through that hole and takes off. And then there's always like some pump fake. He always does something because you never know what he's going to do. He can no look past you. There's a reason. I mean, he's been doing the same thing for so long. I mean, ever since he's started playing in the league, he's just always caused defenses some, problems. Adam, how much of this is predetermined with Fitzpatrick when he knows where the ball is going to go before the snap? Yeah, this one, when I saw this one, I would have been very curious to ask Fitzy what made him want to throw this, because this is one of those plays where you usually tell a quarterback, do not throw this ball, because they're basically have two guys covering the single receiver. This is an RPO, and you would think this is a hand the ball off situation, and he's got enough room here in the corner's backs turned. I guess Fitzy just looked at it as like, he's open, I'm throwing it. This is what makes Fitzy tough to go against, because he will do things where logically speaking, football 101 says this should not happen. Speaking of something that shouldn't happen, this is 3rd and goal from the 22-yard line, and somehow the Dolphins get a touchdown out of this. Yeah, you can see here on this side, they're taking away the single receiver. And this happens sometimes because DBs do not, when you got a 3-by-1 formation like this guy does not get a lot of throws. The receiver to the field, especially in this split, a lot of teams don't throw this ball. And this is really smart by Fitzy and Devontae to be ready for it, to where, hey, that guy, he's playing inside leverage and he's trailing. It's a long throw, but, the DB doesn't see it. So your defense has to be ready for things that are counterintuitive when you play Ryan Fitzpatrick. Correct. It goes against all the basic rules of football. And, that's why he's he's been able to play this long, because he will do things that are somewhat unusual.
Adam, how much did the schedule change impact you guys in terms of prep this week? Because last week you're thinking Game 6 is in LA against the Chargers, and I'm sure you had coaches looking at the Chargers in advance scouting, but now you're playing the Dolphins.
Yeah, the one good thing I would say is our quality control guys did a good job of being ahead, and the way that we kind of do our breakdowns and stuff, where every week that we, all the teams that are left on our schedule, they break those games down and kind of keep it going in that aspect, to where if something like this happens, we're ready to go. Interesting
stretch for you guys, because it's the start of 3 of 4 games inside the AFC East.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big part of our schedule, and we got to do a good job of focusing on 1 week at a time right now. We look past that. That's too much for anybody to look past. I mean, we got to figure out a way to get 1 win, and then after that, you build off of that and go to the next week. But if we're focusing outside of anything but this one game, then that's when you're going to get yourself in trouble.